Today's review is from a brand new brewery that seems to be getting a lot of plaudits all over the internet. This is a Colourful Snakes. It's a pale ale and it's from Azvex, based in Liverpool. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing a new brewery for the channel, and these are actually, I think they're a relatively new brewery generally. They're called Azvex. I think that the sort of their logo is a little bit similar to Alpha Delta, yeah, which has also got these sort of two sort of like triangle-like things in them. But this is Colourful Snakes. It's a great-looking can artwork, all these colourful snakes on it. Pale ale, some interesting hops. We've got Mosaic, obviously we see that quite a lot. Laurel, which we don't see very often, and Azaka. And it's a 5.8% pale ale. And as I said, they're based in Liverpool. And when you go on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, you know, on certain forums that I belong to, or people that I follow on Instagram, they do get a lot of good press. And even the bottle shops are saying, oh, there's latest and greatest breweries, the latest beers from them. So I thought, well, I'm going to try them. So this is the first for this month. I've got this one, the Colourful Snakes Pale Ale. I've also got another one called something Cheetah, which is a 7% odd IPA. But I thought I'd start with the Pale Ale. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass, see what it's all about, and see if it is the next best thing, you know. I mean, I don't know anything, any background. Obviously, they're a new brewery, and they seem to have come from nowhere, and they do seem to be producing quite a lot of beers. I mean, even since I bought these, there was 3 or 4 on the website, and I've seen 3 or 4 within the last week on the website. So I don't know, maybe they're head brewers from one of the big hitters, and he's set up on his own. I don't know, but if you do know anything about them, let me know in the comments. So beer in a glass, well, it looks like a pale ale. Quite a lot of carb there. You can see it sticking to the bottom of the glass, moving very quickly up there. A very small 1-finger sliver of head there. Let's see what it smells like. It smells fruity, smells juicy. I'm getting sort of citrus fruits, grapefruit. There's a sort of a light sort of fruity, flowery sort of aroma as well. I don't know whether that's the laurel. I always think it's a much more of a very sort of fresh, flowery sort of aroma from that. But yeah, citrusy, grapefruits. Not really picking up much of this. Maybe some undercurrent of something like a kiwi or some, or even a bit of melon. But let's tuck in. Cheers, everyone. It's quite sharp on the front. Lots of really sort of sharp lemon, lime flavours. And there is that sort of melony sort of lightness about it. You know, that sort of, the real sort of, you know, although it doesn't have those sort of New Zealand type of flavours, it has the sort of feeling, if that makes any sense. You know, it's like everything very sort of fresh and green and very sort of refreshing and open and bright in terms of the flavour profile. It's a fairly light. It's a very typical pale ale in terms of its body. It's light. There's a nice little bit of zip of carbonation there. I wouldn't call it overly soft. We've had pale ales that are a lot softer than this, but I wouldn't call it very soft. It's still got that sort of prickly carbonation. Yeah, and I'm getting big hits of lemons and grapefruits and limes, a lighter sort of kiwi, maybe a bit of papaya in there, but there's not much tropical. There's maybe subtlenesses of sort of mango, but it's very sort of light on those sort of flavours. It's pretty good. It's not going to set the world on fire. Yes, it's a step up from, say, your supermarket pale ales, and it's a nice, refreshing, good beer. I don't think it's necessarily worth the hype. Maybe the IPAs are better, but for a pale ale, certainly very palatable, refreshing, juicy, and got a nice sort of sharpness, a nice little bit of sort of dry bitterness on the back end as well that just sort of rounds off the beer really nicely. It's a pretty good beer, But I don't think they're going to sort of, from just this one beer, I don't think they're going to suddenly become better than the likes of your Daya, your Verdants, your Polly's example. But I think I've tasted enough, so let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Colourful Snakes. It's a pale ale from Azvex Brewery in Liverpool, 5.8%, Mosaic, L'Oreal and Azaka. It's not bad, it's not bad at all. Aroma-wise, well, I mean, again, we're talking pale ales. It's got a nice fruity, citrusy aroma. That's about it, really. You know, there's nothing that you haven't smelt before, nothing that's going to sort of go, oh, I've got to really drink this. It's very pleasant without being stunning, really. So I'm giving it 13 for aroma. Appearance wise, you know, a lot of these pale ales start to look the same. Very little in the way of sort of head retention there. It's a yellowy, orange, cloudy, sort of slight hazy sort of pale ale we've seen a million times before. It's a 7 out of 10. Flavour wise, well, like the aromas, big hits of citrus. There's a sort of a slight earthiness to it. The more it sort of, the more that you drink it, so it gives a slightly dry bitterness on the back end. But there's lots of citrus fruits. There's a sort of freshness about it. There's a, you know, the bright lemons and limes and grapefruits are the big flavours, really. But there's also something underlying, a little bit of melon in there, a little bit of maybe papaya in there, and maybe a little touch of mango. It's not bad, but it's not a flavour that's different than a lot of pale ales I've had. So I'm giving it 33 for flavour. Value for money, this can was £4.50. That's not bad for a pale ale. 5.8%, 3 different hops, new brewery, but I think it's a little hyped, you know. I'm going to give it a 7 for value. I think, you know, when I think of some of the pale ales that we've had even in supermarkets, they're not quite as good as this, but I don't know if they're like, you know, when they're £3 and £3.50, and this is £1 and £1.50 more than that. Yeah, I think it's solid, but not very remarkable. 7 for value. And then my overall experience, well, it's a good pale ale. You know, it's a very pleasant drink. It just doesn't do anything different. You know, it doesn't have. It's a little bit too thin and fizzy, really. I mean, you're typical for pale ale, but the pale ales I think are better. The ones that are slightly closer to those IPAs in terms of the body and the mouthfeel. This is quite light, it's refreshing, it's got this zingy sort of carb on it, and that does get those flavours around. It's light, it's refreshing, but there's this sort of a slight earthy bitterness on the back end. It's solid without being remarkable. I'm giving it 13 for overall. Tighten the scores up, 73. It's a recommended beer, but you know, from all the hype that I've seen about this brewery, I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. I've probably had 100 or more beers that are equally as good as this one. Whether it's just that maybe they've got their plaudits through their IPAs and maybe their stouts. I don't know. We'll find out when we have the IPA. I wanted to do this one first, but the IPA will be coming pretty much soon after this. It'll be interesting to see if that's a step up from that. But 73 recommended. And that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed this video for Colourful Snakes. Have you tried anything from this brewery before? You know, is there anything I should be drinking? You know, anything that I should be looking out for? Let me know in the comments. Or if there's any other new breweries that you think, yeah, these are up and coming, but they don't get much views and much sort of coverage on YouTube or social media, then let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can track them out and review them for you. That's enough for today. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber and you like beer, like craft beer, you like rock music, then please consider subscribing to the channel. And until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.